two, one. Good morning, Bruce.
Helmuts, good morning. How are ya?
Good morning. Oh, such a beautiful voice, Bruce.
It's trained.
Good morning to everybody, or good evening, or good afternoon, and please be warned.
Be warned.
Be warned, yes. There might be some mild or not so language.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can handle that. Sorry.
Where are you, Bruce, at the moment?
I am home in Pattaya, Thailand.
Pattaya.
Yes. Yeah, you want to... that's the best place in the world right now, man. Virtually COVID-free.
Virtual COVID-free. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, we can see somebody's online. Good morning.
Good morning, Toms. How are you?
Good morning,
Oh,
Tom.
geez. I saw that picture, Toms. Get a room.
Good morning to everybody. Bruce, how would you describe yourself when somebody asks, what do you do?
Oh, what do I do? Okay.
Yes.
Well, how I describe myself, that could be a completely different question and get down all kinds of rabbit holes and everything, so we won't go there. As far as what I do, we broker websites and companies. We are the foremost website broker in adult. We've got the most experience in that area. Every year we broker numerous websites and companies in the adult space. We've dealt with deals as low as 50,000, which we rarely get them that small anymore. And we've done things all the way up to 8 figures. So good morning, Irvins. How are you?
Okay.
Hello again. Hello again, Toms, and still get a room. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic. People come to us. They want to sell their website. We look at their numbers. We look at their traffic sometimes. In most cases, it's going to be based on financials. We do an assessment of what their company's worth. And then we give them the assessment. In some cases, it's acceptable to them. In other cases, they're unrealistic about what their site's worth, which is unfortunate. You know, everybody wants their company to be worth more. I want my company to be worth more, but in a lot of cases, people they're just not realistic about what their company's worth. So, we give them the bad news. In a lot of cases, people go, wow, I didn't know it was worth that. That's great. And, as long as they follow through with the paperwork, which is the biggest stumbling block, getting people to do just the basic things of getting us financials sometimes is very, very difficult. In other words, asking them to do some work. They expect me to do it all, and I don't know where their financials are or what they are. They need to provide me with that. And it's also from a liability standpoint, they need to provide me with that. And as long as they give me accurate numbers and keep me updated during the selling process, we can usually get things sold. If it's a viable property, we can get it sold. Okay. If it's something that's in demand, we can get it sold. Pay sites are very, very popular still right now.
Can you explain what are pay sites?
Well, pay sites are adult membership sites where people pay on a monthly basis, or in some respects, on a rare occasion, on a by scene basis. Tube sites are popular. Campsites. Oh man, you can't get campsites. We have so many buyers for campsites, it's not even funny. Dating sites, kind of the same thing. If it's a good site, if it's a good dating site, a good campsite, or if it's a clip site, oh God, those things are really in demand. Of course, it's a fairly new business model, so it's the hot thing, and they're doing very well. And the COVID was the best thing possible for both cams and for clips because everybody was locked in. That's Bernie, by the way. Everybody was locked in, and they couldn't go anywhere. So people were just home consuming adult content and consuming all types of online content, especially adult content. and everybody's just drowning in money right now, which creates kind of an issue for me because now people don't want to sell. And those that do want to sell, they're a little unreasonable about their expectations because the pandemic's not going on forever, folks, and I always tell people sell at the top of the market if you can. And this is the top of the market. The valuations are certainly up, and people are consuming a lot of porn now. And hey, you know what? This is a great time to sell. So, our website is adultsitebroker.com. And if anybody's interested in selling their site, please get in touch with us. Or if you know someone who's interested in selling their site. Yes, hi Bernie. Daddy's busy right now.
Good morning, Bernie.
Yeah, Lana's over there, and she'll probably start making noise when her mommy comes home. But anyway,
absolutely no problem.
We'll deal with that at the time. We'll let her out. Oh, here she comes. So
Bruce, so when somebody approaches you and says that he would like to sell a company,
yes,
what is the list of the first things you ask them?
First thing is what kind of profits your site or sites have made over the last 3 years. Sometimes the last 3 years plus this year, depending on when the year is. At this point, we're asking about 2018, 2019, and 2020. Would you excuse me? I got to let Lana out.
No problem at all. No problem at all. And good morning to everybody. It is 6 a.m. 6 a.m. in the UK. In Latvia, it is 8 a.m. What time is it? Is at your side? And of course, we have.
As you can see, I'm not wearing pants. I got shorts on. So there you go. Welcome to the tropics. I blew my cover.
And in short, to explain who is Bruce, adult web or web business industry is tiny. Is it, Bruce?
The adult industry is tiny?
No, online business part. People from adult webmasters.
Yes.
Or not adult.
You talk about the community.
Yes, the community.
The community is small. The community is small. There's absolutely no two ways about it.
And all the people know each other.
Yes.
And Bruce is, I would say, number one person to go to if you want to buy or sell a business, or you definitely want to talk to him.
Yeah.
So this is who Bruce is for the adult web business community, or maybe not only web. Then Bruce is the man to go to talk to.
Like, say, if you want to sell a hosting site, that's a hosting business. That's another one. Just as an example. Anyway, I was explaining the process. So basically, what we do is first we're going to gather financials from the seller. Quite often, the seller doesn't seem capable of. Cheers, my coffee. Quite often, the seller. Oh, there you go. Good job. Mine is iced coffee. Quite often, the seller doesn't seem capable of getting those together.
Really?
Yeah, and in those cases, we just say, okay, well, when you get your act together, get in touch with us. Don't have a lot of time to mess around. Anyway, so let's say that we look at their financials, we give them a valuation, they approve the valuation. They agree to a broker agreement where we spell out the details, and they agree to sell through us. Then in that case, I'm going to ask them for information on their company, how they got started, what's unique, why would somebody buy it. In the case of that's Bernie, by the way. In the case of
it is still absolutely fine.
I know. In the case of we have 4 dogs. So in the case of a pay site, yeah, I know. It's going to be it's an ongoing job, believe me. So for a pay site, we want to know how many scenes they've got. We want to know how many members they've got, how many recurring, how many new members they get a month. Just all the details that a buyer is going to want to know. And then the buyers start asking questions. and we immediately deliver those questions. As the broker, we immediately deliver those questions over to the over to the seller and ask them to promptly get us answers. Another thing about when they're really slow in getting us financials, it's usually a sign that they're not going to be able to deliver in the process, because if they couldn't get us the financials in a few days, a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, oh, you wouldn't believe. And then I hear from them again a year later. Hey, I'm interested in selling my website. I go, yeah, I remember you. You couldn't get me your information. God, I've had people go 3-4 rounds like that over the years, and it's just really funny. It's just a sign of a dysfunctional business, really, which is good, because what's going to be under the hood isn't going to be pretty anyway. Let's face it.
Or maybe it just
in most cases they just they don't have their act together, and that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. So
that could be good for a website. It could mean that the website is the same, and there are lots of things that can possibly be done to improve.
Yeah, things that are broken, things that don't work, just overall dysfunctionality in a company. As a longtime businessman, and I've been in business. I've been in business for well over 40 years. Okay, I'm 63 years old. See the look on your face. That's okay. I have a young wife. It keeps me young. Anyway, younger wife. So, you can tell these things. You can usually tell the first time you talk to somebody whether they've got their act together or whether they don't have their act together. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate sometimes, but all I can do is try to help them. That's my job. Okay. My goal is to try to help people. I sold radio advertising for 21 years. And throughout that entire time, my goal was to help people, not sell people advertising. Yes. But to help people sell more of whatever they were selling. Because I found out very early on that when I first started, sell ads. Okay, so I sold ads. I realized if I didn't sell these people solutions, that it wouldn't work and we'd never see them again. But if I started selling them, if I started actually selling solutions, guess what? They got results and they came back. And then every month they'd be an advertiser, or if they had their event once a year, they'd be an advertiser once a year. And all of a sudden, I didn't have to work as hard to make really good money. So from a selfish standpoint, I want to do a good job for people. Well, from an unselfish standpoint, more than anything else, because you learn to just really like helping people. But from a selfish standpoint, who wants to keep bringing in a client base? If somebody sells something through me and they got something else to sell and I do a good job, guess what they're going to do next time? They're going to come back and they're going to give me referrals. I had this guy and who I did some business with, and I'll say he was a little bit difficult.
Okay.
And it wasn't a really big deal.
Was he buying, selling?
Selling. And I didn't get really rich on it. But all of a sudden, the guy said, oh, yeah, by the way, I know this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy that want to sell. So, and this was, this was like, wow, And I started to understand the guy a lot better then, But the bottom line is it's all how you treat people, okay? If you treat people well, it'll come back to you. And that's in life too, of course.
And business is in referrals, after all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Almost all our business is referrals. Obviously, a lot of people already know me, okay? So they know me from my many years in this business. You know me, okay? I've got lots of contacts, so...
It seems that there is not a conference you would miss.
Well, that's an illusion, actually. I don't go to all of them, but I try to go to the big ones. Okay. And it's unfortunate the conferences aren't happening. I did a virtual one last week. I did the Why Not one, which was very good. And I did a seminar on buying and selling websites. And it went quite well. It was a little uncomfortable because I had a script and I was trying to keep eye contact and I had a teleprompter going. But I didn't want to miss anything, but I also didn't want it to sound like I was reading. Yes.
Can we talk about tube sites?
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know few adult webmasters who are into tube sites.
Yes.
And they are so good. Good. They can pump up these numbers.
Yes.
Quite quickly.
Yes.
They have cracked the system. What are the numbers if a person wants to sell a tube site? Views, geo, income, something.
Yeah.
What would you start with?
Well, it's going to be, if it's monetized, okay, assuming it's monetized, it still kind of falls back to profits. Okay. And if they're growing any site, okay, not just tubes, but if it's growing, here's kind of my rule of thumb. Okay. I'll start from the bottom and work up.
Yes.
If it's failing and going like this, okay, it's going to probably be one-time annual profits is going to be the valuation, maybe 1.5.
If profits are failing, if profits are going down.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, yes. if something is, let's say flat, if it's just kind of flat,
plateau,
probably 2.5 times.
2.5 times annual income.
Annual profits.
And annual profits.
Yes.
So you would include servers and usually those guys have dedicated servers.
Yes.
Servers
and any other hard costs, employees, whatnot. Okay, you got to include all that. Your hard business costs. If something's growing, okay, now we're getting to like 3 times, and if it's growing rapidly, it can be 3.5 to 4 times, and sometimes even more. Sometimes it could even get up to 4.5 times, but that's like almost never. If you sell it here's the problem with selling it based on traffic. Okay, it's really hard to justify a valuation based on traffic that's better than how they're monetizing it. Because let's say we look at the traffic and all the traffic, or 90% of the traffic's tier 1, America, Canada, Australia, UK, Germany, New Zealand. Okay. Oh, well, thank you, studio. Yes, we love Bernie too. Yes, he's our oldest boy. So anyway, our oldest dog actually is 8 years old now. I just had a birthday. Yeah, I adopted him off the streets of Bangkok. I bought him from a street beggar when he was this big.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a couple like that actually. So, and the other one that was in here, my wife found in a field. So, yeah, well, she was just a baby. Yeah, she was just a few days old. So, yeah, I mean, let's say it's like 90% tier 1, okay, of the countries I just mentioned.
So US,
and
UK, Canada.
Yeah, and now you look at, and I look at the traffic market, and I say, okay, tube traffic is selling for X, okay. Which I haven't priced tube traffic recently, so I can't tell you.
What are the average prices? Just
for traffic, for tube traffic?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't priced it lately, to be honest with you.
Approximately for people who do not know adult industry at all.
I'm not the guy to ask. You know what I do? Because I do one based on traffic so rarely that it's not even in my mind. What I do is I talk to some of my traffic people, some of my traffic experts, and I go, okay, well, what's tube traffic selling for now? Okay, because it varies, and I would give them all the parameters, and they'd give me a cost. So let's say we come up with a valuation of, let's say it's $1 million based upon profit and loss. Okay. And we We look at the traffic and we look at the value of the traffic, and the value of the traffic based on what traffic's selling for is 1.25 million.
Okay. Yes.
I would tend to err on the side of the profits because, yes, the value might be there, but you're not getting that. Okay. So it's very difficult to justify to a buyer that they should get that. Now, if the buyer's a real smart, astute buyer, they're going to do the same thing I did with the traffic and go, ooh, this is a really good buy. Okay. And they're probably not going to balk too much at $1 million. You know, the other thing we could do is maybe pad it a little bit and let them negotiate. But it's very difficult to justify a valuation over, over what the profit and loss is going to be. Now, if it hasn't been monetized for whatever strange reason, then you're going to base it on the valuation of the traffic. And again, it's going to be based on trends, traffic going up, traffic going down, and what the traffic's valued at. And based upon whether it's going up or going down, the valuation is going to be based upon those variables.
Let us say a tube website of a small-ish adult webmaster, 50,000 visits a month, and what would it make? $3,000 a month?
Maybe.
So what are the averages? What are the usual numbers?
There's no usual. There's no usual. I see everything, man. I see so much stuff come across my desk that one thing I realized a long time ago is, Helmuts, there's absolutely no such thing as usual.
Seriously?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I've seen some really weird shit. I had this guy contact me and tell me that he had been making, what did he say, $30,000 a month on his site, but he shut it down. Well, why'd you shut it down? I just didn't have time for it. Oh, okay. Well, my bullshit alarm started really, going. Okay. And then I looked at his analytics, and his traffic had been trending down for a long time, and then he shut it off. Now, maybe 2 years ago he was making that. Yes. That doesn't mean a damn thing. Okay. If you were making that money 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, it could be 20 years ago. It has absolutely no, it doesn't matter. That's not your value. Your value is what you're doing right now. And if you shut your site down, first of all, you're an idiot. Okay. I told him everything but that. Second of all, if you read between the lines, I called him an idiot, but he didn't really catch it because there was a language barrier. First of all, if you shut your site down, you're an idiot. Second of all, you turn your site on, it's like a new site. So I told him, build it up again and get back in touch with me.
Of course. Reopen it, wait for 6 to 12 months, and you'll be back.
Maybe not. But do what you did before. Feed it traffic. Do all the things that you would do with any new site.
Okay, awesome. A question is coming up, and I have like tons of questions.
Okay.
And of course, for our viewers, you can ask your questions, and I'll put them up on the screen.
Sure.
Isn't that awesome?
Okay, so does the age of a domain mean anything of value when considering the price to sell?
Yes.
The price of the domain? No, it really doesn't. People make a big deal about age of domain name. I mean, it could be a 12-word domain name, and it can be 50 years old or however old the internet is, and it's still worthless. But being kind of facetious. Here's the thing, okay? Number one, we really don't deal in a lot of domains because our experience hasn't been good. The adult domain market has been kind of crappy, okay, over the last 4 or 5 years. Even amazing domains, and I just released a list of some really good domains in our newsletter. You know, even those, and we've gotten some inquiries on them, but I mean, even those in the past, I just haven't gotten the interest. So the domain market is difficult, number one. Number two, unless a domain is really high value, I'm not even going to look at it. Okay. In fact, we're putting a marketplace on our site where people can just post all of their domains and websites that wouldn't be large enough to interest us. If a website isn't valued at $50,000 or a domain isn't valued at least $30,000, we won't touch it. And I'm thinking of increasing that domain thing up to 50 as well, because I just get a lot of really, really lousy domains across my desk. And, you know, God love people. I know they think their domains are valuable. Oh, I got one was yesterday. And this guy asked me if I'd be interested in listing his domain, and I forget what the name of the domain was. But keep in mind, my minimum's 30,000. I forget what it was. And I clicked on the domain. I thought it might have a site on it, and they want $1 million for it. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. And you're not going to get it. So I sent the guy a very honest email back. You know, I deal in tough love. I don't deal in bullshit. If somebody, sends me, I'll look at anything. Okay. I'm happy to look at anything, but don't expect me to sugarcoat it. And I will reply to every email. Okay. But if your domain is, if your domain's worthless, I'm going to tell you it's worthless. If it's not valued high, I'm going to tell you it's not valued high. I've got a friend of mine who sent me a list of almost 400 domains the other day.
Yes.
Okay. We've done some business together, and he's a really good guy. And I told him I'd look at every single one. I picked 4 domains out of the list. And I said, even though I wouldn't be interested, and 3 of the 4 were, I think all 4 actually were mainstream. And I use the eye test. Okay. I don't appraise domains, but I use the eye test. And the eye test is basically yes, no.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, there's a third. No fucking way. But anyway. I looked at his domains. I made a list of 4 of them. I sent them back to him, and I said, well, the bad news is, and I'm going to be honest with you, the bad news is I don't see much here. In fact, I said, you're spending a fortune a year on domain registration, and you really should cut your costs. Absolutely. Because most of these are not worth the cost of renewing them. And that's what I've done over the years, is I've pared mine down because, if something's not worth the cost of renewing. I had an idea for a project. I bought a domain. We've all done it, right? And after a while, you're up to a couple hundred domains, and then you're like, what am I doing?
Absolutely. And people do not realize how many domains they actually do have. As those renewals come, this one, like 10 and next month, and then you see, like 400 domains, like your friend, and the renewals are 5,000 a year. Ooh. I'm losing some money.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. I was trying to figure out what this yellow was on the side, and then I realized it was your deal. I was like, okay, what's in my office that's yellow? I'm looking around. Okay, yes. so anyway, next time we do this, if you actually want me back, I'll have more coffee. So anyway, so anyway,
so good to see you. The last time,
my friend, it's always good to see you. Come on.
The last time we've seen each other was Amsterdam, I think, Webmaster Access conference 4 years ago, something like that.
Oh, I was at Amsterdam 2 years ago before this last one was canceled. So it might have been that, or it could have been 4 years. It's been a long time. I generally go to European Summit every year. Walter and Andreas do an incredible job. And if anybody here is looking for the best European shows to go to, those are by far the best European shows. And they're not paying me to say this, but I may ask them for some money after this. And if those were the only shows I sponsor. Only most shows I've ever sponsored are those shows, except for media trades for like email blasts and things like that. So they're great shows.
Their show was the first one I did attend for in Sitges when they were in Spain. In Sitges, that was the first adult webmaster show I went to.
Really,
and it was amazing. I was blown away.
They don't do Sitges. They do Sitges anymore.
So many conventions and so many different covering so many different niches. This and that, and I have never ever seen an event amazing like that.
Yeah. It's great. That was the first one of theirs I went to as well. I loved it. The setting is just wonderful. Unfortunately, when I was ready to take my wife to that show, they moved it to Portugal, which Portugal's lovely, and I like that too, but it just doesn't match Sitges at all. They just outgrew the hotel. That was the problem. Maybe they should go back now because you can't have gatherings that big. So I'm hoping. I think May. I think the latest date they've got for it is May in Prague. I'm hoping to go in May, but I don't know. I have a feeling it'll get pushed back again personally, and we're supposed to get the vaccine here in May. So I'm not traveling. I'm not traveling before the vaccine. That's not going to happen. And I think most people are that way. So I really don't think before people have the vaccine that they're going to be doing that, to be honest with you. I don't see we might not have physical shows, sadly, until 2022. I think that might be stretching it, but we might not have physical shows till 2022.
I start thinking about the autumn of the next year. I'm thinking, but
that's what I was thinking. But now I'm hearing that they're not going to have the distribution of the vaccine in the UK. They're talking about late fall. Okay.
Well, I think UK
to get everybody inoculated. Okay, they're starting with the high risk groups, and then in the United States.
Oh, that's a different story then.
See, if the UK can't get it done, can't get it completed until the end of fall, and the US is already looking at supply shortages, I have a funny sense the US is looking at mid 2022 to get everybody inoculated. That's my guess.
I feel so bad for Americans. Money, baby, money. Okay.
Anyway. I feel bad. I feel bad for my country, but my country's been really freaking stupid, and the stupidest person is the one in charge. Well, we won't spend time on that because I could go on for hours. Go ahead.
Stupid people live under the bridges. Let's put it that way. Okay. Let's
everywhere.
Move on. It can be quite harsh. Okay. Anyway, let us move on. So, what metrics do you look? So do you actually consider undeveloped
or never developed name? Well, again, it's a domain. Okay, if you're talking about a domain itself, then what I just discussed is how I look at it. If you're talking about a new website, and this is a question that I got asked when I did my my Why Not talk last week. They asked me, so what's a new website worth? How do you value it? Yes. The answer is I don't. Okay, so early on in my career as a website broker, I took on some platforms. I took on a couple of traffic platforms. I took on a CAM platform, and they were developed, but they weren't monetized. Really simple. If it's not monetized and it doesn't have traffic, in my mind, The value is very nebulous, and I won't touch it. Now, in terms of evaluating domains, okay, anyone who wants to sell a domain through us, we require that they get it appraised, and I have an appraiser that I send them to, and he's the former owner of a very large domain registrar, and he's one of the top domainers in the world. Okay, and I think he more does it as a favor than anything else, but there's a fee. Okay, it's like, I don't know, $125 a domain. Most domains I see are not worth $125. And I won't recommend somebody get something appraised unless I think it's worth a lot more. So that's how I answer that question.
Adult industry is not really into domains in general.
Hasn't been, sorry, allergies. Domains have just not been happening. They just have not been happening lately.
So, and the largest sales was the domain king, Rick Schwartz. Do you know the guy?
That's funny. Funny you should ask. We just
he's amazing. Oh my!
Yeah.
So
I just started working with Rick for the first time, and we just rolled out some of his domains. Which I was referring to this week.
Assholes.com, and what else has he got?
We got Ask.com. Ask.com's out there. Yeah, you got 5 million or 4.2. I think it was 4.25. Yeah, you got 4.25 million sitting around.
4.25 for Ask.com.
Yeah.
So Porno.com was sold for 8,888,888. There were all eights.
Was that him?
Yes, that was him. Of course.
The
king.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Rick is smart. He's Jewish, by the way.
Oh yes, and he's seen. So, and you've started working with him.
Yes, we just started working together, and I have a feeling we're going to do a lot together.
Who are the buyers?
People with a lot of money. I'll tell you when I sell it, although I probably can't because everything's under NDA. But yeah.
Who are the buyers? Let us say for campsites. So you said you have lots of buyers.
The buyers for campsites,
yes.
Mainly people who already own campsites, and then for the larger ones, okay, but there are no sellers. And for the smaller campsites, I had a guy contact me and say he's interested in buying a campsite, and the question for buyers, first question I asked them is, what's your top end budget? And he said $150,000. And I said, you're not going to get much for that. I know it's sad to say that $150,000 can't buy a decent campsite, but think about it, okay? What kind of campsite's going to sell for $150,000?
I remember when Panty Bay started. Awesome English guy. So they burned 50.
Yeah, he's got a. Yeah, it's
in the first month, I think.
What now?
They blew 50,000 into during the first month or first couple of months only in web development.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely custom built platform.
I know the gentleman, and I also know some of his investors.
He's awesome. Yes.
No, it's a great concept. It's a really great concept. He's a smart kid. He's a really smart kid. I can say that because I'm 63. Everybody's a kid. You're a kid. Anyway.
Oh. So Bruce, who are the buyers for the campsites?
Well, like I said, you talking about specifically? I can't tell you.
Geographically?
All over the world.
Romania, Latin America, Russia, Germany.
Yeah. I mean, Europe, Russia, United States, Canada. I've got people all over the world who are looking to buy campsites. if I listed a campsite, a decent campsite, I have a feeling that there would be a bidding war. Okay.
What is a decent campsite?
A decent campsite? A decent campsite is one that has hundreds of models. Okay. Has tens of thousands of users.
Okay.
And makes millions of dollars.
And then that would go into a bidding war.
Oh yeah. I had one I sold that was ailing for a number of reasons.
Okay.
And well, there was one reason, but anyway, I can't get into the details. And I had a lot of potential buyers. I can't say there was a bidding war, but we did sell it for more than listing price. We've done that before on things. I've had pay sites that have gotten bid up because I've got like 9 active pay site buyers, people that are interested in buying pay sites.
How has been this year for you, Bruce?
My best ever.
Numbers?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
you want you?
Yes,
no.
Could you share some numbers?
I'm going to tell you what I made. I'm not going to tell you what I made. It was a good year.
How many businesses have you sold, plus minus? How many websites during this year?
Off the top of my head, probably 20.
20.
Yeah.
That's websites.
Huh? Yeah. That's closed deals. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's
yeah. We don't tend to deal in small properties. We tend to deal these days in large properties. And when I first started, we were doing a lot more of the 50 to 100,000 stuff, and now we don't get much in that range. I did sell one this year for under 100,000, but it's rare.
And then the rest would go up.
What's that?
And the rest would be, so one was only under $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest were above.
Mm-hmm. 6, 7, 1 8 figure.
Wow, so you've had a good year.
Fantastic year.
How long are the processes of buying these businesses?
What are the processes?
Yes, how long are they?
That's the most that's the biggest question. That's the question I get the most often when somebody's interested in selling. And it's a question I can't answer because it's all over the board. I've had things take literally 3 weeks, and I've had things take 1.5 years. So, and everything in between. So it really depends on the deal. And then there's a lot of factors that influence the deal. Sometimes something just sits there for a while, and all of a sudden it sells. Okay. I just had a couple like that. Okay. And now because I think people are buying everything now. Okay. People are buying everything. Where before I may have had trouble selling these 2 properties, boom, they sold. So it's kind of it's nice. Okay. And I'm happy that things are selling, but I hardly have anything to sell now. I'll be honest. It's just hard to find sellers. So I'll just put the pitch out there. If anybody has anything they want to sell, we're looking. And with the market being as good as it's ever been, if your business is up, it's a great time to sell, because I have 2 concerns about the economy in our industry. One is that people will just run out of money. Okay. And by the way, on my podcast, I had the president of the second largest chargeback management company in the U.S., and he told me chargebacks this year are up 256%.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people are buying and not paying. That's number one. Okay. That will continue, and I have no doubt will get worse. Okay. Number 2, and I look mainly at the United States because that's still the majority of the adult market. With there being a hesitancy, it's not even a hesitancy, it's a dysfunction in Congress to get anything passed in terms of stimulus or aid to people just don't have money. And as the pandemic gets worse, today there were over 3,000 deaths in the United States, over 3,000 deaths on Wednesday in the United States. Okay. As it gets worse, the economy is going to get worse. It can get worse and it will get worse. And people just won't have money. Those are my concerns. Okay. And I think they're very real. So even if people are stuck at home, okay, if they don't have money, they can't buy anything without charging back, which doesn't help you. It only costs you money. So if you're doing if you were thinking about selling before the pandemic, if you had any thoughts that it might be time to get out. Yes. And I have some people like that, by the way, who I talk to and go, Bruce, I can't get out now. I'm just rolling in it. Okay. If you had thoughts of getting out before the pandemic and now you're just like, wow, what's that? And now you're just, wow, I'm rolling in the dough. I don't want to sell. This is going to go on forever. Kind of reminds me of the position I was in California in 2000. Let me think about this. About 2008. Okay. The value of my house had just gone off the charts. I just had done another refinance and took money out. And it looked like California housing values would go just crazy and through the roof forever. Then the almost depression hit, okay? And all of a sudden, my house was worth $300,000 less than I owed on it in like a flash, okay? Now, if I knew then what I know now, I would have sold it then and come here, okay? But I waited, and I ended up just bailing, okay? Which a lot of people did in America. A lot of people bailed on their homes because it wasn't worth what you owed on it. So what was the point, right? So we hung it out until it was time for the bank to say, "Hey, give us this thing," and we moved to Thailand. Real simple. Okay, a lot of people did it. They weren't prosecuting people for it. It wasn't even showing up for very long on your credit report. It's just what everybody was doing. Hell, there were people that were they were buying the house across the street, the identical house, moving into the new house, and then they stopped making their payments on their old house. I wish I was that smart. So
they were saving so much money. Yes.
So the point of the matter is, I kind of liken it to that situation. It's a really good analogy. Values are at an all-time high right now. And if you have any inclination that you want to get out, we're happy to take a look. Okay? It's just plain and simple as that. And I'm not trying to scare anybody into anything. It's really it just makes a lot of sense. Hello again, studio. Do I deal in non-adult sites? I do. Yes. I keep promising myself that I'm going to fully launch the mainstream branch that I build a site for. But right now I'm only doing things that are kind of related to adult, like gambling and crypto and Forex and things like that, where a lot of people in adult would be interested, because that's my database. The people in my database are people in adult.
So businesses and individuals who are into adult, they could be interested in expanding their influence.
A lot of people that have and will get into mainstream.
What about the businesses, physical businesses? Are you involved in buying and selling them as well?
No, not really. I had one gentleman I talked to in Vegas. God, was it still this year? Seems like 5 years. 2020, yeah, January of 2020 in Vegas. And he's got a club in New York, which is adult related. The only problem is, obviously, they've been shut down most of the year. So I was willing to give it a whirl. And I was probably going to get a local business broker involved with me as a co-broker, because that just kind of makes sense. But in most cases, I do not. I've never really listed one, and I tend to kind of shy away from it. The closest I got was I sold somebody's DVD business, which they did have a website. So, and that was many years ago, and it was a pretty small deal, and he just wanted to get out of the business, and he had tons of stock, and I sold it to one of the bigger concerns in the adult space, and it worked out.
How is the we have a question, but I'll put it up a bit later. How's the niche of adult news sites?
Adult news sites.
So we have what we have. So 3 leaders, XBiz, AVN, is that a news site as well? Or you could say yes or no, and why not?
XBiz.com is a news site. Why not .com is a news site?
Yes.
Really? Are there any others now? I mean, I don't know of any others. As far as news sites, there's B2B forums.
Yes.
But again, you got xbiz.net, you've got GFY, such as it is. You've got.
Could you explain that abbreviation, please, of GFY?
Anyone who's an adult will understand. Well, it's still GFY, and the community there tends to be more bizarre. Is that a good word? Yeah, I think that I tend to. The way they act. I mean, it just tends to be a site where people go to bitch, and there's a lot of political stuff, and not a lot of business gets done. Although unfortunately, that's it's kind of permeated over to xbiz.net as well. If you go to xbiz.net, there's a lot of political posts, and there's just a lot of stuff that I don't think belongs on an adult forum, which really that's kind of a social media adult forum / whatever. So, but the whole business model of adult forums
for me, that would actually be a great sign of adults being involved there, of people with money actually. So political conversations, really. Well, that is from my perspective.
I don't think when people are bitching about politics, they're bitching about politics. They're not thinking about buying things.
The last thing I've sold there was a Facebook group, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it did sell on Snap. What about the Facebook groups and social accounts?
It's big. It's big.
How's the market for them, Bruce? Thank you.
I haven't really had people want to list those. I've had people talk about Twitter accounts, but it's just difficult to monetize. It's difficult to put a value on, really. Yes. But I'm open to look at things. But I haven't seen anything that was that impressive, really. In most cases, when I'm dealing with a Twitter handle, it's usually part of a deal, and it really more has to do. It's more part of the deal, and isn't really figured in, because you got to figure that whatever they're using, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatnot. That's being used to promote the site, and that's being reflected in the numbers.
So what about what is in the stock in social arena? Have you got something in your stock you are selling for your clients from the social arena, like Instagram, Facebook?
No, not right now. No.
Nothing.
Yeah, no, not at the moment. I'm not really selling any groups or anything. No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, everything we're selling's on adultsitebroker.com. There's a tab that says what's for sale. And we still have a few nice things on there. You know, we've got a toy adult toy review site. We've got a really nice mainstream kind of Netflix type site platform that that has a lot of partnerships in the United States, and they also have streaming music. So real interesting. It's a big sticker price, but it could be very interesting for somebody. And I mentioned.
Can you give some numbers?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I want to say it was like 7.7 million.
That 7.7 million users.
No, it's $7.7 million.
Asking price.
Yeah, I don't have the users in front of me.
Okay, approximately. Could you look them up, please? It would be interesting to see.
I don't off the top. I don't even think I've got updated numbers of users from them, to be honest with you.
So 7.7. It should mean that they make
it's a lot of. You know, you have to understand something. With this type of site, a lot of the value is going to be based on the movie rights. Okay. And the movie rights are a large percentage of the value, because those types of rights you can't just go buy. Okay.
Yes.
It's you either have them or you don't have them. And if you go to Warner Brothers and say, "Hey, I want to buy rights to XYZ," they'll say, "Who are you?" You know. So you're probably not going to get them. Probably not going to get one.
There was this guy. I remember years ago he was approaching me and he was saying that he had Brandon or something, and it did appear. I did check him out with few of the people I knew. And
you're talking about what do you mean, Ackerman?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you give the story as and I did?
What about him? I've heard a lot of stories about Brandon. I've spoken to Brandon. He's an interesting guy.
He's an interesting guy, and he was so convincing. So I thought, okay, I would check him out. And after, I just had to talk to two people. I think it gave me
only wait, two? You mean the first one didn't know?
No, you would just double check the information, you know. What is his deal?
I'd rather not talk about it in any kind of a public sphere, because that kind of, you know, I'll just leave it at that. He's an interesting guy. We could talk. We can talk. We could talk later about it.
Of course, not in public. Yes. Okay, that's good. And then before I put up that question, what about the adult toy businesses?
Mm-hmm.
3D printing is out.
Yes,
3D printing is out, and
at home,
I happen to know a guy from the south side of the US. I'll be very careful, and he makes killing with adult toys, printing adult toys.
Okay,
he does what, 80 to 100,000, I think, in sales in a month. It is going mental. And it is all dildos. It is all dildos.
Is he selling things that are copyrighted by others?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's a total geek.
That's great. Good for him.
He's a total geek, and he loves this stuff.
Yeah.
Actually a programmer, and he went there just for fun, and a guy who prints everything at his house. Nice.
Yeah, you can do that now. Yes, they're advertising home 3D printers. Yeah.
And the industry is quite big for adult toys.
Yes, it's huge. Yeah, it's very big.
Other buyers for sites like that or businesses like that. These are already businesses.
Yeah, in fact, we're listing a toy manufacturer and retailer out of Australia, and that's also on our site. So that's another one that's very interesting.
Price?
Oh, God, you're going to ask me questions here. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
Numbers, Bruce. Numbers.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see what we got here.
The more experience we gain, Bruce, the more we understand the values in numbers, yes?
Okay. Let's see. What's for sale? Here we go. $675,000.
$675K.
Yes.
And what does it make?
Oh, you need to do an NDA for that. I can't give out any of that information.
Is it fairly priced?
Everything I sell is fairly priced. Are you kidding?
Well, some businesses and some entities are priced as they are. For example, previously mentioned Rick Schwartz. He's got diamonds. He's got diamonds in the domain names, and that is the price. That is the price.
Exactly.
If you want the best of the best, you will need to put out some cash.
That is correct. Yep.
So $675,000, and you can have what? You can have
it's a manufacturer and site, and they sell pop culture, adult toys. Like I said, go on my website. You can read about it.
And the website is?
I can't tell you that either. You need an NDA. No. Everything's a blind listing. We don't we don't give the name until somebody's filled out an NDA.
Bruce, do you see on the screen there is private chat?
Yes, I do.
Could you type in your email address, please, and then I will put it on the screen.
Okay, beautiful.
And then we can jump on the next question.
Okay.
Oh,
there you go.
Here. Awesome. And
go and have copy and paste there.
Bang, sir. Here we go. Bruce at ab2b.biz.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
So the question is.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Successful is the key word there.
Yes, and then there is. Do you think the stock market is finally ready for an adult?
No, because the mainstream world just really doesn't accept us, and so I don't think it's time yet. Although it's getting closer, I do think it's getting closer. A successful stock market, publicly traded company. There have been attempts. Okay, Friend Finder tried it.
Terpen?
Friend Finder tried it.
Yes. How was with Terpen? Awesome French Canadian guy. What was his name?
JC. Yeah.
Jean-Claude something.
Yeah. Okay, let me finish the question.
Yes,
let me finish the answer. Okay, so it didn't go well for Friend Finder. They had to take it back private. And there have been other attempts, and I don't think anybody's really done it successfully. Okay. So can I imagine it? Yeah, I can imagine it. I can imagine it happening with MindGeek, but of course, MindGeek's getting some pretty negative publicity right now, including. You didn't see the New York Times column about the kiddie porn and stuff like and then the same guy ran another one today after Pornhub did some damage control and changed their terms. It's a pretty big mess. But all that said, once that's I don't know if that'll ever really be cleaned up. Maybe they'll change their name again. I could see a company like that going public, but not with those types of publicity situations, because in that particular instance, nobody's going to want to, Wall Street's not going to want to touch that, because unfortunately it's that type of thing that gets people already to have bad things to say about our industry. And really that kind of stuff really rarely, if ever, exists. Keep in mind that Pornhub's a user-generated site. Users were the ones who put that up, but it's Pornhub's responsibility to make sure that they moderate it. And they obviously didn't do it properly. So this guy was writing this opinion piece and talking about these girls that were harmed irreparably, and all this other stuff, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, there's been this kind of problem with other user-generated sites, and I've always kind of felt that it should be moderated to the point where if anybody, they probably should have IDs for everybody, including user-generated. But it's a mess. It's a mess, and it's I don't know what the answer is, but all I know is that there's still that element out there. It's not pervasive in the industry, fortunately. This industry, for the most part, is very clean, thank goodness. But the people we know are clean. But then there's always going to be some scum who's going to post something on a user-generated site and create issues. So anyway.
And why did you have that smile when we mentioned Turpin? He's such a smart guy. I really like him.
He's interesting.
Jean-Claude.
He's hard not to like. He's
very likable. He's very likable, chatty,
you remember what I said about the other guy?
Yes, Ackerman.
Yeah. JC's interesting. We'll talk later.
Oh, come on. We cannot put both guys. Jean-Claude is ambitious. Yes, but we can talk about him. Yes. I really, really like the guy. So
I do too. Everyone likes him. Anyway.
I think he was trying to push Turpin. Turpin was the company name, yes, was it?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to push it into IPO or something. Did he?
Yes. He had some very grand plans for it.
Yes. And we can use these words. So big thinker. Musk. You can say he's like Musk, yes. Only grand plans. And he still does have grand plans with Switzerland and
okay. I'll believe it. I'll believe it. Let's just say I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to be skeptical because I have to be skeptical. I'll tell you later. Anyway.
What about the traffic sites? Now the question is about traffic sites. So we as Host Maria for our main product is very, very fairly priced cloud hosting, and it is not for adult businesses.
Okay, be that way.
But we definitely want to serve the adult industry.
Okay,
and I have failed twice at the moment in trying to set up data centers in the UK, where we would sell mostly dedicated servers for adult industry. And at the moment, we are offering semi-managed dedicated servers for adult industry. And I would be looking for traffic.
Yes.
So if I'm looking for adult traffic, and it wouldn't be more like a business traffic, just adult traffic to get the traffic in.
Yes.
I would probably buy a tube site who has got already outsourced employees. As I do know how much time it does consume. You have to put in the content every day, and so the business side is
there's people, there's people, there's services that will do that for you.
And what about the traffic sites?
You talking about the traffic companies?
Yes, traffic companies.
Yeah.
Or are they the buyers? Not this.
Well, they're the brokers. They have publishers and they have advertisers.
Yes.
So the publishers provide the traffic, and then you would be the advertiser.
Are these companies for sale?
None that I've heard. If I knew, I would certainly talk to them about, helping them.
Yes.
But I've yet to come across. I know some have gone out of business. Oh yeah. But no, I think most are doing pretty well. So I don't know of any. I don't know of any that are for sale right now. And just like the whole industry, I'm sure they're doing well right now.
So I think traffic business, which are the most reliable businesses in adult niche?
You're talking about traffic.
So there are many different types of businesses in adult. There are tubes, there are traffic brokers, there are payment processors.
Yes.
And which ones are the bulletproof businesses?
Bulletproof.
Not like bulletproof, but the most secure ones.
Talking about a business type?
Yes, business type. Thank you, Bruce.
I don't know. Here's the thing, okay? That's a tough question to answer because what's bulletproof? I mean, I think any business can get hit with something that can ruin them, no matter how big they are or how small they are. And any business can either benefit from good management or suffer from poor management. I've seen countries suffer from poor management, as I mentioned earlier. So I think that it really is more about each individual business as opposed to saying that this type of business is the most stable or that type of business is the most stable. I will say that in terms of the business models in the adult industry, you'd have to be working really hard right now to screw up a campsite or a clip site. You'd almost have to be trying to screw up not to make money. Okay. Especially once you're making money, once you've got traffic, once you've got models, once that's rolling, I don't know how you're not making a lot of money. Okay. But anything's possible.
Awesome. And here's a question like this.
Can I sell a website to any people in the other country if the transaction occurred through my bank account? In my country, if it's at a cheaper rate, please do share.
I do not understand the question. Do you?
I don't really understand the question either. No. Let me explain how these. If you're talking about exchange rates,
yes.
Yeah, you're kind of at the mercy of the banks when it comes. I mean, I'm gonna answer the question I think you're answering. Okay. You're asking. As far as exchange rates, you're kind of at the mercy of the banks. Okay, you can try to now. The best thing to have is to get a U.S. dollar or a euro account in your country. Okay, get the best possible exchange rate for that money.
I think Deepak was in India. I think so.
Seems to be the case. Yes.
Yes.
And so it's going to be my guess. But I mean, unless you've already got the money in dollars or euros, which is what most people deal in, can I sell a website? So you're selling a website. Okay, you're selling, you're not buying. If you're selling the website, you're probably going to get dollars or euros back unless you sell it in your country. Okay, and then you're just you're going to have to deal with dollars or euros. So probably best to try to get a dollar or euro account either in your country or offshore. That's probably your best way to do it. Generally, or all of our deals go through escrow, and our escrow people.
That's actually my question. What
okay,
do you
let me Let me complete the thought. Okay. And the escrow does a lot of things. Okay. They deal in dollars, euros, Great British pounds. They deal in crypto. Okay. So there really are there really are a lot. It's a US company too. And so there really are a lot of options. So we try to make it as easy as possible for our sellers and buyers. Your question.
Wow. So escrow.com?
No. It's escrow.domains.
Escrow.domains. Okay.
Yeah. It's a law firm in Washington, D.C., and they're excellent. I mean, they're the only company I will use. In fact, it's in my agreements that my sellers will use them, just because I find them the easiest. The rates are the best, and they're just the easiest people to deal with. I can actually, unlike big companies like escrow.com, I can pick up the phone, I can talk to the owner, and I can say, hey, or WhatsApp him and say, 1, 2, 3, I need this, and I get it. And I had that happen 2 nights ago. Something needed to be changed in the escrow agreement. The deal was about to close. I said, this needs to be changed. It got changed. The deal closed. Boom.
Fantastic. And what about the banks?
What about them?
Oh, what about them? Most of them, they
robbing, lying sacks of shit. Yeah, they're the worst.
Absolutely.
Well, banks are banks.
Just mention them. You are an adult.
Banks are banks.
Bye, love. Bye, happiness.
Yeah. No, banks are banks.
So which banks are the best? The international ones.
Oh God. It really depends on your situation. It depends on your country of incorporation. Depends on whether you're incorporated in Europe. It depends on whether you're incorporated in some offshore municipality. Whether you've got a Caribbean incorporation, or you're in the Seychelles, or you're in Cyprus, or it just those would be the most popular of the offshore. In Hong Kong as well, I guess. It depends on where you are as to where you can get a bank account. There's most of the European accounts require a European incorporation. I do have experts I can send people to on this subject.
I've heard some horror stories about the UK regarding the banks.
No, it's worldwide. It's not just UK.
Is it worldwide? Yes.
Oh God. Yeah, and the pace has been set by the United States, of course. They're the ones that got the ball rolling on the downward tumble of the banking system. Well, U.S. almost crushed the whole world banking system. You might recall in 2008, 2009. World banking system almost completely came down because of the U.S. So then the U.S. I'm reading Obama's book now, and then the U.S. put these. It's great, and then the U.S. put these requirements in place that have made doing business as an American citizen almost impossible anywhere else in the world. So interesting.
So, and then there's a question like this.
Bizarre? I can't really think. The word bizarre is kind of bizarre. I can't really think of any trend that's going to be bizarre. But if you want me to predict a trend, I think the trend that will continue is the trend that's already started. And the pandemic has certainly helped this along, and that's user-generated content. There will be more and more user-generated content as we go. And the studios, there will be less and less studios, and there will be less that will be produced in the studios, and more people will be doing things at home. And a lot of it will be, more social and on clip sites. And that's the way the business is going, and that's the way that the business will continue to go. And it's going to get a lot less centralized, as it already has.
Thank you.
So So I don't know. So I don't know if that's bizarre, but it's what's been happening, and it's going to continue happening. And of course, the big companies and adult have gotten their piece of the action of that area, and they'll continue to.
So thank you, Bruce. Maybe next time I could invite a few other people from the industry.
Sure, absolutely.
And then we could do a panel.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. I'll be glad to help pull it together if you want. I could bring some people in.
Yes, that would absolutely sound awesome.
We'll just have to do it at a time that works for everybody if we want people from the United States and all. But of course, we started a little early in Europe today, so maybe next time we'll do everything in my evening and their morning, and we can make it work for all.
And if there is a person that you would love to see, please write to hello@hostmaria.com, and maybe we can get them. I do happen to know quite a lot of people as well. Well,
is that why I'm on? Did a bunch of people put my name in? Oh, that's really nice. By the way, I want to give you one more plug. We have a podcast, adultsitebrokertalk.com. And I hope to get you as a guest on it. We can promote these broadcasts. It's adultsitebrokertalk.com, just like it sounds. And there's also a link on adultsitebroker.com, which is our main site.
Or just go to Google, type in Bruce Friedman, and bang, the site will be there.
Is that how it works?
Yes, your podcast site does come up, and it is well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we've done 30 episodes now, and I've got another 5 episodes, 5 interviews in the tank, and I just, in fact, yesterday interviewed. You're very welcome. And sorry if it wasn't bizarre enough for you. Thank you. I just interviewed Tim Valenti from Naked Sword yesterday, who is as iconic as anyone in gay porn in terms of executives go. He is like the king. So it was really fun, and I know you'll enjoy it. Fellow San Franciscan.
Well, there is something for everybody. Why not?
Absolutely. Look, the gay porn space is huge. It's huge, and and I'm certainly looking for gay sites to sell too. First listing I ever had for sale was a gay listing. So you know what? We don't discriminate here. It's all about getting the people what they want, and a lot of people want gay sites. So.
That is adult entertainment in the end of the day.
Indeed, my friend.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Helmut. It's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. We will talk soon about a bunch of subjects, won't we?
Yeah, why not? Let us do that. Maybe once a month we could put up proper adult industry panel. Why not?
I'm talking privately about the things I didn't want to talk about. But always happy to do it. Always happy to do it.
Do not touch JC. No.
Okay, my friend.
Okay, Bruce. Thank you.
Take care. Okay, bye-bye.